Welcome back to the show, Reds. Thought I'd jump on, do a quick match reaction to yesterday's game, have a chat, which is a bit of a therapy session, I suppose. Very disappointing day in the end for us. Um, really victims of our own downfall, really, weren't we, when we think about it? A lot of talking points coming out of the game, and a lot of things that need to be highlighted in our fan base that need to be really discussed in terms of we should really be doing better. When we talk about you'll never walk alone, and this means more, and mentality monsters and all that kind of stuff. I get it that people can be very reactionary right after a game, and the disappointment was huge. But I think we really could do a lot better ourselves. So let's go through some of those talking points. Have a chat about the gaffer, have a chat about a lot of the heat that's coming on Cody Gakpo at the moment, which I don't think is warranted at all. I think it's actually disgusting to see what's happening to Cody Gakpo, to be honest. We'll have a quick chat about the injuries that were spoke about after the game yesterday. We're going to talk about the gaffer, obviously, that interview. We'll talk about the substitutions. We got to talk about the game management that happened. We talked about again another slow start. Lots of things to talk about, but we'll start first of all with the hate and the tragedy chants, which are absolutely disgusting. I just can't believe in 2024. Everyone knows my opinion on this at this stage. We've just come through. I suppose before we start, Stephen's in. Big up, Stephen. Thanks for joining us, pal. Just it's kind of a bank holiday here in Ireland at the moment, so I thought I'd give the reaction a day or so to let it sort of marinate and see where way the land lied. But also we'll be back tonight at 9 o'clock as well for the usual Monday matchup. So this is kind of just a Shankly Sessions bonus show, basically. But yeah, Forest deducted 4 points. Everything must be going absolutely ballistic. Make it make sense. I cannot understand it, but yeah, it's so weird. And yeah, the other side of Manchester, the 115 allegations just keep on rolling on, and it just doesn't make sense, Acers is in. Thanks for joining us, Acers. Police arrested supporters over Hillsborough disaster and Munich air disaster. Absolute scumbags, yeah, absolutely. It's just terrible, you know what I mean? And I can't put myself. I talk about this all the time. I can't put myself in a mindset, and you hear people talking about drink and all this kind of stuff and all. I can't put myself into a mindset as an adult going to a match, and getting a win like that, and that your first part of call and thinking is to bring up that stuff. It makes absolutely no sense, and it's disgusting. And I know there's a lot going on both ways and stuff like that. I know the talk of the flares going into the wheelchair area in Old Trafford and all that kind of stuff. And listen, I've spoke about this before, and I've spoke to about our own fan base as well. Sometimes we got to do much better ourselves. It's not exclusive and stuff like that. But I think with these chants, I think there needs to be a marker really laid down on this, and I think people need to be really taken to task. I can't understand a fan that goes to a match, and especially after experiencing a match like that, which is probably one of the greatest quarterfinals in FA Cup history, and certainly, if not, it's up there. And will stand out and will be clipped and will be used to advertise the FA Cup for a lot of years to come and stuff like that. So I can't understand, after being witness to that and experience all that and experience your team. And look, before we start, congratulations to United as well. And the sickening thing as well was the draw, wasn't it? Because even afterwards, then they drew Coventry in the draw as well. And I was thinking we would have been Wembley bound big time, wouldn't we? But it's sick the way it went down. And I think what makes it sicker as well is the fact that it's an international break now, so we don't have a quick match to turn things around and change the narrative. So we're going to be getting boiled on this, aren't we, for about 2 weeks at least. But yeah, getting back to the chants and stuff like that, I just don't know. I seen the video of that guy, the United guy, and he's talking about the wall and the railings and all that. And I'm just looking at him going, what sort of a human being are you? And what's scary about this as well is the fact that this guy might be a husband or a father or something like that, and you're there looking, going, what goes on in that guy's brain? Like, it's crazy. There's no space for it ever, and certainly not in 2024. And I hope they get fully punished over it as well. Acers, it was 99 4 round written all over it again yesterday. Fantastic game for neutrals and supporters. Yeah, it was an unbelievable game, and I was so dejected after it, like, because I just think again another opportunity, and it was so tough to take. And it was just the thing about it is you kind of like you could feel it, couldn't you? You could feel it that something was going to happen, and it's stays in. West Ham robbed against Villa, had 3 goals disallowed incorrectly. Stephen, don't even get me. We'll be talking about that later. Philip, how are you, my friend? Thanks for joining us. Those supporters that chanted about both the Hillsborough and the Mount disaster deserve a lifetime ban from attending all football matches. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. Morris is in. How are you, Morris? Check out Morris's channel as well. Absolutely scandalous. It was indeed. And Nigel's in. United didn't win that game. We lost it. Why? I personally think the wrong subs. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about that, Nigel. We're going to be talking about that. Henry, what's the crack? How are you, my friend? If you have a show tonight, drop the link in there. Let people know. Check out Henry's channel as well, folks. Yeah, but it was just... I wonder... There's so many talking points to come out of this, and it's, look, the gaffer can't get a pass on this either, you know what I mean? It was just, the substitutions were just strange. The heat on Cody Gakpo is just bewildering. It's just bewildering. Like, I mean, I know he didn't play that well yesterday, but there was a lot of people didn't play that well yesterday. And especially in extra time, couple of players, be it exhaustion, be it mentality, whatever it is, kind of folded, didn't they? I have some thoughts on the game after rewatching it. I'm sure you do, like the rest of us, absolutely. Big up, Romy One Kenobi. How are you? Way to go on 1.3 subs, my friend. Yeah, cheers for that. Absolutely. It's tough to enjoy anything at the moment after yesterday. I thought Klopp behaved very poorly after the game at that report he did. We're going to get talking about that. Don't worry, Morris. That's on the agenda. Stephen, when I think about the tragedies, I get chills. Don't know how anyone can chant about it. Makes me sick. Stephen, I sat watching it on telly as a kid. Not a kid, but it was, I sat there watching it. Pretty much was a kid, actually. And I never forget it. It's like it was yesterday. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe I was watching people that weren't going to go home just because of a football match. I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. And it's just for people, and the worst of it is as well is that not only that, there could be people close to that situation that were directly affected by that situation. I mean, obviously we all were as fans, but I mean people who lost loved ones or who are very close friends of people who've lost loved ones and stuff like that. And they could be close to that, and they have to. This comes up again now. Video footage of this all over social media. There's people sitting at home today who were affected by that tragedy directly. And this is what they're having to put up with again today. More of this again. It's absolutely disgusting. It really is disgusting. Brentford will beat United in 2 weeks' time. Oh, I think it's shown it's right time to step down as manager. I'm not too sure whether I could see where you're coming from on that one, Henry. But I think it's a difficult one as well when you announce so early that you're going. It's easy to go to that point. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on him as well because he's announced that he's leaving and everything else. Every game now feels like a cup final. Every game is a game that we don't want to let him down. And there's a lot on the line there and stuff like that. Like this is when we look back at Jurgen's legacy and we look back and stuff like that. This is his last FA Cup game. And okay, we have the league game coming up in a couple of weeks' time at Old Trafford and stuff like that. And boy, Jesus, we need to kind of right that wrong, if you like, in terms of Old Trafford and stuff like that. But this is his last FA Cup game. And I often talk about people's legacies. And when you talk about people's legacies, you don't always, it's kind of, you remember, it's like we talk about pro wrestling here on a weekly basis, myself and Stephen and Acers and everything and all. You're kind of only as good as your last match, aren't you, at times? And it's going to be a difficult one. It's a difficult one for the gaffer to pallet as well, because he knows there was enough out there yesterday to get the job done. But we didn't. And that's what makes it all the sicker. It's not like United came out and steamrolled us or something like that, you know what I mean? And, we got beaten 3-4-0 or something like that. We literally got beaten with the last kick of the game. But what I did say last night, I was talking to our group on WhatsApp, and I said, sometimes you have to be humble in defeat as well. You have to just accept it. And we've done this to a number of teams this season, where the last kick of the game, whatever it is, and it has gotten us over the line. So we know how fantastic it feels, but we also have a feeling of how hurtful it is on the other teams when it doesn't work out for them. So I think it's really, really important that we remember that as well, that like we've been speaking for weeks now about how we've been riding our luck a little bit, at times it's gone against us a little bit, but at times it's really gone with us as well. But we've been riding our luck in terms of the opportunities we've been coughing up the teams. And we knew that it was only a matter of time that one of these games was going to come along and we were going to get bitten by the opportunities that we cough up. And this kind of felt like that game, and it's the last game we wanted to happen in, you know what I mean? But obviously, I mean, the league game is going to be huge. And I'm not disrespecting the FA Cup in any way. I would love to be going to Wembley for a semi-final and a final. But we may look back on this season, and what the players have to do now is they have to park that, put it behind them, take the 2 weeks to go on international duty or whatever it is, or absorb in whatever you need to absorb in to put this behind you. And we need to come out of the blocks against Brighton in 2 weeks' time. And that will put us top of the league again and put the pressure back on Arsenal and Man City, who are playing each other then, I think, on the Sunday, the Super Sunday. So I think it's really, really important that everything is taken in context. And I think if we were to go on and win the league and potentially the Europa League, and we have the Carabao Cup, we may look back and go, we could have maybe done the quad, but there's too much talk about that at times. And I think for us as well, where we tend to take it game by game, I think some of the narrative coming out was a little bit wrong, and I think we kind of shot ourselves in the foot a little bit. I think the first half, I think in the first 15 minutes or so, I think we were really poor. We gave them the kind of impetus, and they got the goal. McTominay after 10 minutes, once again coughing up a goal again, which is what we've been doing this season. I think just before halftime, I think we got right back into the game then, and we started playing our game, got the ball down, started passing through them. Literally their midfield evaporated. Once we scored the 2 goals, we got our noses in front right at the right time, right at half time, which was excellent. And then we should have taken that into the second half. And if you look at the second half, we kind of went into the second half and we were quite dominant in there. And they looked, I think on about 60 minutes, I looked at them and I was thinking, was it 60? Yeah, about 60 minutes I looked at them. There was a lot of heads down. There was a lot of bodies on the floor. They looked kind of wasted. And I was thinking, we'll just pick these off now. This is the way this is going to go. Romy Kenobi, disrespectful chant deserves instant ban for life. Absolutely. Niall, I met Lewis Kumas on Saturday at this football match as my sister's boyfriend is the coach. He shook my hand and asked if he was going to be in the squad versus United, but he said he would find out later. Nice. Philip, Romy Kenobi, 100% agree. Absolutely. It wasn't a very long interaction, but to be honest, I didn't want to fanboy over him as he was with his mates, and I would hate that absolutely. Look, these guys know. Acers, I remember watching it on Grandstand, couldn't believe people were dangling out of the stand. It was frightening seeing. It's just crazy. I hate the racist chants Finney gets every week from opposition fans. It makes me sick. Yeah, and I actually quoted that yesterday in our WhatsApp group, Romy Kenobi. I spoke about how he was dealing with a whole stand at it. and you could see the footage of a whole stand at it, and then they pick out one or two. And I was thinking, anyone who's chanting that, if you're rolling behind it, I'm being honest here now. If I was standing in a stand beside a Liverpool fan and he started chanting anything about the Munich air disaster, I'd absolutely level him. Klopp record in FA Cup is absolutely abysmal. Certainly is. He was a top guy though, lovely manners. I'll probably see him again, to be honest, as my sister's boyfriend is best mates with Kilma's best mate. And Kilmas knows my sister's boyfriend quite well. Excellent. Nice to have that. United gifted 2 deflection goals to Liverpool. It's just, that's a bit harsh now, isn't it? 2 deflected goals. I understand they're 2 deflected goals, but the build-up play for both of them was excellent. It's a bit harsh saying United gifted us 2 deflection goals. He was really mature to, even though he is 18, he acted like he was 20. Big difference. Technically, he shook my hand, but he lifted the Carabao Cup, so I technically touched it. April 5th next meeting. Yeah, April 5th. Yeah, that's we've got to put that right, because this is the problem now. The problem now is we're rolling that dice, we're rolling that ball and that roulette wheel now on Jurgen Klopp's legacy. And that's the issue. City already have FA Cup retained. Certainly do not. A matter of fact, if you want to know my predictions, I'm predicting a Chelsea United final. There you go. Do you think that Klopp will come back to visit as a spectator? I would say so. I would think so. Unfortunately, I can't see Liverpool winning the Premier League title. Acers, don't get blinkered by what happened yesterday. You got to take everything, as I said, in context here. Players coming back off injuries. We now have 2 weeks of work to do with these players and stuff like that. And also players returning as well. You could find in 2 weeks' time, Liverpool could be in a very strong position. Doug, how are you, my friend? How's things? I seen you were doing. Did you do a show with Sophie? Yeah, I'll check it out later. I didn't get to see it, but you were due to do a show with Sophie. Was it on at 5 p.m? Drop the link in there, Doug, if you have the link as well, if people want to watch it. Didn't deserve to win yesterday. Yeah, I don't know though. Didn't deserve to win, but did we deserve to lose as well? Like, you know what I mean? It's just, I know we didn't take our chances, and I know the 2 breakaways, and I know, like, this is when we talk about the team, and this is the funny thing about how reactory we get, and how that instant reaction of disappointment and the kind of hate that comes with it and all, and the way for Cody Gakpo today, it's crazy, it's just, everything is in context. Apparently the guy twisted his ankle, and on top of that as well, where did the issue here start? Did the issue here start on Thursday against Sparta Prague, where we played a very, very strong team, and one Mo Salah played for 90 minutes. Should he have played for 90 minutes in that game where we won 11-2 or whatever it was? Why was that the thinking? Should he not have been hooked on 45 minutes as well, like the others? And then we go and sub him on 70 odd or whatever it was yesterday, when we know that he's the threat, he's the guy at any moment that can pop up and make things happen. So it's kind of weird. And then you look at Cody, and Cody kind of gets messed around a bit, you know what I mean? He's a left winger who's sometimes thrown in central. He's a left winger who's sometimes thrown on the right-hand side, and it's just, I think at times, it's just a bit unfair for him. And I would say this, and I'm going to bring this up now because I think it's really, really important. Cody Gakpo has 13 goals and 5 assists this season. He's been intricate in our success in the Europa League this season, and also in the EFL Cup. And I think it's really, really important that everything is taken in context. Now, I understand people are hurting because this is our rivals and stuff like that, and it's a tough one to take and stuff like that. But to be solely having conversations about Cody Gakpo, and like, no one's talking about Harvey for the breakaway goal, no one's talking about Darwin's stupid pass inside for that goal, no one's talking about Van Dijk not going towards the ball and handing Rashford off to someone else who was out of position. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on there. There's a lot of stuff yesterday that just didn't go right. And it's easy for us to sit here and go, oh, him and him and him and him. But collectively, like Doug said earlier, like we didn't deserve to win. I just think in the final third, I think in that second half, I just think we treated it like a training exercise. I think that's what it was. I think we were passing the ball around. I think we were in total control of the match, and I thought we were just going to see it out. And I think because we were in such control of the game, I think we kind of relaxed just a little bit too much, and we just weren't kind of killer stage in the final third, and that was really disappointing, really, because we really should have been taking care of it. But I think it's still good. Didn't deserve to win yesterday. I don't know. For large parts of the game, we were so dominant. Okay, we didn't get it done in the final third, and we should have. But I don't necessarily think we deserve to lose. I think we deserve to bring it to penalties, and then it's a lottery. And then who knows who goes through? Maybe we would have went through. Maybe Onana would have had a stellar penalty shootout. Who knows? You know, Arsenal fans saying they going for the Arsenal fans saying they going for a Premier title. Absolutely. We can't let the FA Cup defeat affect us in the league run in. If we don't let it affect us, we have a chance still of winning the league, and we have the easiest run in, I think. Absolutely. And this is the point I was making, that like we can't let what happened yesterday define the rest of our season. We have to rise above that now, and we have to do what needs to be done to right that situation. You know, and if we look back at the end of this, and you know, we've another league title and a Europa League and the Carabao Cup there already, I think it'll be, you know, I think some people will dwell on the fact that it could have been a quad. Other people will dwell on the fact that maybe not having those extra 2 or 3 games or whatever it is will benefit us. I really want to get Arsenal in the Champions League if we beat Man City, because then men need humble big time. They do, don't they? There's a lot of chest out at the moment in the Arsenal fan base. A lot of chest out at the moment. And look, there's a difference. There's a difference between needing to be humbled, you know, and backing your team. Like, I will always back my team. I came out in the preview. If you watch the preview, I thought we would have way too much for Man United. And at times it looked that way. And we just didn't. It just didn't happen. And that's the way it is. And you have to accept it, because you can't do anything about it. Kelleher could have done better for the last goal. I don't know. It's hard to go in on him, Stephen, isn't it? Because he's been excellent. It's hard to go in on him because he's been excellent. I think what happened with the last guy, I don't know whether it was Bobby or whether it was Connor Bradley, whoever it was in that last position there, he kind of took a movement. When the ball went to Ahmad, he took a movement and then a step the other way. I think he thought that Ahmad was going to come across him and check back in, but he didn't. He went to the outside to take the shot, and that just cost him that half a yard and stuff like that. You know, you hear loads of people turn around and go, oh, if that was Alisson and goals, he definitely would save and stuff like that. Listen, Alisson makes mistakes as well. He doesn't save everything. He's absolutely brilliant as a keeper. And we're very lucky to have the number 1 keeper in the world, I believe, in Alisson Becker. But also, I think Queeveen's a great deputy. And I think it'd be harsh to go, he made some great saves during the game as well. So, but yeah, there's 1 or 2 he could have done better on. But listen, we're hardly going to start pointing the finger there now, are we? Ladies winning and under 21s winning is good progress. Absolutely. Romy won Kenobi. The disrespect Gakpo was getting last night was uncalled for. Absolutely. Uncalled for. Especially for a team that says you'll never walk alone. That thing is, you'll never walk alone. This means more. Mentality monsters. And then this is what I talk about as a fan base. We need to act better. We need to act better. Don't think for a minute these guys don't see what's on social media. Can you see Gakpo and Diaz leaving in the summer now? I could certainly see Diaz leaving in the summer. I don't think Cody will leave in the summer. I don't think Cody, because I think the wave of stuff that we're hearing at the moment is unwarranted for. And I think this guy kind of doesn't necessarily get the run that he needs. He seems to take part a lot in kind of Europa and, you know, in the EFL Cup and stuff like that and all. You know, I'd like to see him getting a run in his position before I really decide on him, you know what I mean? But I'd be surprised, you know what I mean? But Diaz, I could see going, because there has been a lot of talk about it. The dad was doing a lot of talking there after Christmas as well about it and stuff like that. So that could potentially happen. But with Michael Edwards now back in there, Romy Kenobi as well, he's bound to do a real good deal on that as well. That would free up a lot of funds. to bring in. I heard this talk today. They're talking. The plan is to talk to Musiala and players like that and all. So let's see what happens. We shall see. The chances Rashford missed was criminal, absolutely, and this is what people are forgetting. And if you look at the stats on the game, I think looking at the stats on the game, we practically nearly had. They actually had one more shot than us. We had 19 and they had 20. You know what I mean? So it's not like, we were dominant in the second half and stuff like that, but it's not like we didn't cough up chances. That chance that Rashford has, you have to put that away. And if you put that away, but it's just when it's the last minute, I was actually looking forward to the penalties, and as much of a lottery as penalties are, I thought both teams had actually deserved it to go to penalties. City will retain the treble again. I can't see City winning the league this year. I don't know what it is about it. I think they've got some really tough games coming up. That plus the Champions League, that's a really tough draw for them as well. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how this goes. Look at City again against Newcastle there again at the weekend, stuff like that. New WWE freaking nightmare t-shirt out today. Good Lord. I got to go and create my last of the Summer Wine podcast. So ciao for now. Enjoy. What a show. Last Summer Wine. Make sure folks are giving Henry all the love and support over there as well. Carragher, I hate him. He's copying his side piece, Gary Neville, with the nonsense he comes out with. Imagine, I said it today on Twitter as well. I retweeted this on Twitter today. Gakpo plays like a game is in slow motion. Could someone tell me how fast Jamie Carragher was on a pitch? Because really, for Jamie Carragher to be thrown that kind of mud, seriously, you know what I mean? It's crazy. And this is like the blue billionaire bottle jobs and all this kind. This is what these guys are coming out with now, you know what I mean? For him to call that out like that, you know what I mean? And especially now that we know that the boy might have had some sort of an issue with his ankle or a twisted ankle and stuff like that as well. It's absolutely shocking from Carragher. Really shocking. This is a guy who was getting serious heat during the week for his antics with Kate Abdu and stuff like that and all. Get it together, Carragher. Graham Souness was absolutely spot on about Liverpool squad yesterday after the game. Yeah. Carragher as a player was as slow as Robocop. There you go. Carragher was snail's pace on a football pitch. There you go. And this is what annoys me, you know what I mean? If this was Terry Henry, if Terry Henry yesterday had to come out and said something like this, I can look at Terry Henry, who used to tear the Premier League apart with his pace and stuff like that and I go, yeah, I can accept that. Or if this is if this is speed match, this is gigs down the wing, I can accept that. Or whoever it is, you know what I mean? Very hard to accept that from a guy who turned like a bus. You know what I mean? It's just shocking, you know what I mean? Let's get and talk about the gaffer, because the gaffer was obviously under serious pressure. And obviously this wouldn't have sat well with him, because he kind of seen the opportunity to win. We were in control of the game, and twice we let it slip. Dare I say that? So he would have been very disappointing. But I think you have to be professional at all times, don't you? Now, I know the questions, obviously, when you're dealing with different reporters for different TV and stuff like that, sometimes the questions seem a bit weird and probably a bit wearing and stuff like that. But I don't think at this level you should never walk out on an interview, and certainly not make a snidey comment on the way out either. And I think Jurgen owes the reporter an apology, to be honest. I think we have to say that. And I think the disappointment of it as well would have been very hard to take and stuff like that. And maybe it's a case that if it's that disappointing and you're that roiled up about it, whatever the issues are and stuff like that and all. And the gaffer knows himself he made mistakes yesterday. He knows he made mistakes himself. So that would have been playing on him as well. Just don't do the interview. Just hold back. Take a breather for an hour or so before you do any of that stuff. Digest it a little bit and bring yourself back down. Sometimes these things are done too quick, and in the heat of the moment, what might seem like a stupid question, maybe it's the English or the broken English from a foreign language or whatever it is, and maybe you're just waiting for something to annoy you. But I think yesterday, you know, it was a bit unprofessional, and the pressure's mounting now and stuff like that. And the problem with something like this is rivals now will play on this kind of thing and talk about Klopp's cracking up now. Liverpool are cracking up. We got the run in, 10 games to go. You know, whatever it is, 4 or 5 games in the Europa League left now, whatever it is. They're cracking up. They can be got at and all this kind of stuff. So you can imagine in the build-up. And don't forget, Brighton coming to Anfield is not going to be an easy game. I know Brighton have been indifferent this season. Not very much like the Brighton that we've known. But they're not just going to roll over for Liverpool at Anfield or anything like it. So that's going to be a tough game. So we need to be laser focused, and we need to, this kind of stuff needs to be gotten shot of, you know what I mean? Get it out of the system, refocus, reset, and let's go again. 10 games to go, you know. So Usam lost his marbles during and after the game. Absolutely, 100%. It's you know, and it's, you know, and especially in the moment of a watch along as well. I mean, I was here yesterday. I was hopping off the room, absolutely hopping off the room. It was just, you could feel it, you could sense it, and that's the worst of it. You could, you know, you could see how they were starting to get back on top again, and we were coughing up chances, and they had that bit of momentum. And you know, we talk about the crowd at Anfield, and hats off to the 9,000 travelling fans as well, who made so much noise yesterday. And that 9,000 at times drowned out that 60-odd thousand as well. So fair play to them and stuff like that as well, you know. So, and even staying back and chanting Jurgen's name and stuff like that, what it means to them and stuff like that. He's been phenomenal for us. But I just think at times we have to be honest with ourselves as well. And sometimes we have to call out stuff when it's like this. And I just think, yeah, difficult. Sam is, you know, he was spot on as well. He could feel it himself, like, you know, you could feel it if you go back and look at the watch along. The Old Bridge was comedy gold yesterday, absolutely. But he was losing his mind yesterday on the watch along as well. You go back and look at his watch along. Look what he was saying about the substitutions when Ericsson came on and Anthony and all this kind of stuff. And then when they hooked Mainu, go back and look at what he was saying as well. He didn't agree with it. So, like, you know what I mean? But just sometimes it just works out for you. Klopp should have said no comment and left. When you act like that, you give opposition something to talk about. Exactly. And we don't need that. We don't need it. Yesterday as a neutral, it all felt weird to me. I can't explain it. Same. Daz, what's the crack? How are you? All good, pal. Just working through this therapy session here and stuff, you know. Yeah, what else can I say? And then we get an update, of course, then that Luis Diaz might have a bit of a groin problem. Darwin with a bit of a tight hamstring or whatever it is, and the talk of Cody with potentially a twisted ankle and stuff like that. So more headaches for the gaffer as well. As if it's not bad enough you're crashing out of the FA Cup, if it's not bad enough that you crash out in that manner, you know, and lots of talking points coming out of the game. And then, of course, gets triggered on this situation. So just a wave of stuff yesterday, and it was just, it's just mad when you look back and you think about it. And I looked at so many watch-alongs. You see the boys off Coppish and all just losing their mind, Matt and all having to check out. You look at Sam, you know, you look at all the different watch-alongs. It was just absolutely crazy, and it's a roller coaster what they put themselves through. But yeah, tough one to take. But let's get laser focused, Reds. Let's work over the next 2 weeks, get players back. You know what I mean? What a trade it would be if we come back in 2 weeks' time and we have Trent and potentially Ali and Jota, and maybe these 3 boys are okay as well. Luis Diaz, Darwin, and Cody as well. And, you know, let's give it a right go now till the end of the season. But I'm looking forward to that game now at Old Trafford. And if we can win that and put 3 points on the board, that would be huge for us as well. And that might make us feel a little bit better. But for the next 2 weeks, rivals are going to come at us. They're going to tear into us, and we're going to have to take it on the chin. But we're going to have to rise above it. Folks, until next time, if you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, and drop a like on the video. Let's do this again, Reds. Until next time, I'll be back at 9 o'clock. Monday mashup with Marky. We'll go through all the weekend's action. Marky will give us his thoughts on the game as well. Just take a few more comments. That United Korean supporters comedy gold. He is. He's the guy who has the giraffe, isn't it, Acers? And he's kicking the giraffe around the room as well, the Teddy and all. He's absolutely brilliant. And you know the funny thing about it? I love watching the watch-alongs as well in the different languages and stuff like that. So if you watch that guy there and you're watching the game, you literally know what he's saying and what he's going through. You know what I mean? It's crazy, but it's unbelievable. It's so good. And it's just, look, disappointed, obviously. 2 weeks we will have Courtois and Militao back, so happy for international break. We missed them, absolutely. Courtois, he's like having 3 extra players on the pitch, isn't he? Right, folks, enjoy the rest of your evening. If you can join us at 9 o'clock later, we'd love to have your company again, and we'll talk all things football and plenty of talking points coming out. We're also going to be discussing squads and the international squads that are being picked, who was left out, who should have been in. Let us know your thoughts on that as well. Catch you at 9 o'clock if you can. If not, we will catch you during the week. Thursday as well, Pro Wrestling Weekly this week. Darren's going to be joining me. So no Pro Wrestling Weekly on Wednesday. Switch to Thursday because we don't have a Thursday tier talk, obviously, to go through. So Darren will be bringing the fire about AEW. He has a lot to say. He's told me this is coming. So do not miss out that show either. I'll talk to you again real soon. Enjoy the rest of your bank holiday.